Yo, what's going on, guys? Boy Ooze back again once again for another Godzilla card game update. Now, sorry, as you can see, I had to take my sweatshirt off because it was freaking getting too hot in here with all this heat trying to go over all these card effects. But don't worry, I made sure to take all the time that I needed to get all of these card effects in order and to get them out to you guys as properly as I possibly could across several different translations. No, I don't speak fluent Japanese. I can understand a couple words here and there if I hear it. You know, if you're watching anime, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have watched anime. If you watch Godzilla, you've heard a lot of familiar words. But besides the point, I made sure to cross-reference Google Translate on Lens, Google Translate on the web browser, and even some other translations that I just found online in the unofficial Godzilla Discord, so I could make sure that we had a better understanding of what these cards are. Because let's face it, the Japanese account, they're not going to be worried about us. Unfortunately, we kind of have to do things on our own for the time being, and I hope it does improve. And I hope they see this, because like, it would be nice if we could get the same amount of news at the same time as Japan would. You know, it would be very nice. But I digress. Let's get into these 12 cards. We got 12 cards we're going over today in this video, so buckle up, sit tight. Let's get right into it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the cards on display right here as such, right? And so every time I explain each card, I will tell you what the effects are. You don't have the visual of what they say in English, but that's why you got to pay attention and at least listen to what I'm saying. Okay, so for the first card we're going to talk about is the Godzilla 2016 fourth form monster card. This is the one on the left, okay? Now, it has burst 3, which means that if you have a monster card that's 3, you can just smack that right on top of there and boom. And of course, at the end of the turn, you have to discard it because that's the perk of bursting. You also get a rage card if you didn't already know that. So, enter ability. By discarding one strategy card from your hand, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and add one monster card from among them to your hand, discard the rest. Pretty strong if you ask me. I mean, especially if it's like that late in the game, you're getting repelled 4 times. And it seems like Shin Godzilla is the type of deck that is going to require you to discard a lot of strategy cards to trigger a lot of these effects. So we could talk about more of this. I just want to get through all of these outside of my immediate reaction to these cards after I read them. So next we have Godzilla 2016 fourth form. It's also a monster card. This one has a 2-step with 33k. The other one had 36, so I didn't even notice that, so my bad. So here we go. So on this one, it says, when invading, if there is a card with third form under this, you must destroy all of your opponent's battle cards with grade 6 or less. And if there's a fourth form under this, you gain 10,000 threat level for each strategy card you have placed. Let me repeat that last part. You get 10,000 bombs, son. No, not even under. Over. Okay, you get 10,000 threat level for each strategy card you have placed. So if you have 2, you're getting 20k. You're getting 20k, bro. It's OD. Speaks for itself. So next up, we have these 3 lower ranks. So I guess we're kind of going in reverse order because I just realized we went from 1, 2, and 3. And I guess I can just say this now. At least for the time being, we don't have rank 5. I think I teased this, or I mentioned this at the very least in my last video. And I had said that in the text of one of the, I think it was a blue card, it literally specifies that if there's a rank 4 or higher, so that basically alludes that in the future, and I guess it's not going to be this set, or maybe it is, but we don't know yet, there will be higher than 4 ranks. I'm sure those cards are going to be crazy busted, but it's neither here nor there. Just to, I guess, put that out there for you guys to do what you will with that. Okay, so our third card here, we're going left to the right, okay? This is the giant unknown creature. Obviously, this is the tail of Shin Godzilla from the movie. If you haven't checked it out, it's a good movie. So this is during your opponent's turn at the start of the counter phase. Discard a strategy card from your hand to increase rage by 1. Like I mentioned already, this deck is really all about the strategy cards. And you're going to see in just a second what this deck is allowing it, what it's granting strategy cards to even do, and to have more utilization outside of whatever they're providing for their effects. Like, we'll get to it, okay? But yeah, so this one, you ditch a strategy, you increase your rage by 1, so that's pretty good, especially if it's like, you know, it's a rank 1, has 4,000, so it's like that's easy to repel. But those easy to repels usually gonna have an effect attached to them. In the middle, we have Godzilla 2016 second form, okay? So if you have placed a strategy card, it's CR, which I did some digging, and I spoke with someone in the unofficial Discord to see like what they were thinking, and it could have been just a simple mistranslation. CR could probably mean CB, which would probably mean combat power. So here we go. If you have placed a strategy card, its combat power is increased to 5,000. So for the first time, we are now seeing abilities that grant combat power to strategy cards. That is very interesting. That's pretty cool, because now not only are you gonna be able to add up all of your combat power to try to repel your opponent from your battle cards, now with something like this, you're actually able to add a little bit extra to your strategy your strategy zone. So it's almost like strategies are essentially like the field spells in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, not to bring up Yu-Gi-Oh, because I, you know, whatever, but it's like you're giving yourself more power so that your overall combat increases, which is actually kind of interesting. Last but not least, on this page, we have Godzilla 2016 third form. All right, another monster card. So on your turn, Awakening 6. So again, reminder, this only applies when it is your turn, when your monster card is at zone 6 or above. Each time your rage increases, if you have a strategy card in play, your opponent discards cards from their hand to make until they have 3 cards, right? So basically they ditch in 2 as long as you have a strategy card in play, and once your rage increases is when you get that. So pretty awesome effect. I definitely appreciate cards that have some sort of like utility to decrease your opponent's hand, because it's a game with a lot of draw power, right? So you obviously want to have all your cards, because when it's your turn, you want to get them plays. So I feel like in a game like this, because you're able to draw at the end, you're able to draw more depending on what rank your opponent's monster card is at. You're constantly drawing cards. You're constantly gonna have a big hand. Anytime you get an opportunity to knock their hand down a little bit, I always think it's a good thing. All right, next up. So this next page, so we're looking at a new rank 2 and a rank 3 here. One interesting thing about these cards, right? And just one specific thing about the rank 2. Okay, so this rank 2 is Godzilla 2016 second form. I don't think this is a misprint. Or no, I do think it is a misprint. Simply because it says that it is a burst 3. So that means that you could play it from a burst 3. So if this is not an oopsie, that means that your rank 3 would be out, and then you'd basically be able to burst down. So that's very unique in and of itself. I don't know why they would do that, because that kind of goes against, you know, how the bursting mechanic works. But I mean, you know, if this is intentional, I guess that's slightly interesting. But I'm pretty sure that that was a mistake because of what its effect does. So when it's entered, if there's a giant unknown creature under it, which again would be the rank 1, you can discard 1 strategy card from your hand and move it 1 area. Okay? Now, I guess the argument is that, well, if you look at the rank 3, has a proper burst ability. It says burst 2. So, you know, that's how bursting works. It goes from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Or 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. You know, simple as that. I don't know if that was intentional. And if it is, then I guess you can even argue that, well, once cards are stacked, they all count as 1. So if it's asking you to check if there is whatever underneath it, no matter if it's directly underneath it or underneath that, it still all counts as 1. It doesn't matter. I found it very interesting that there is a misprint, which they could technically fix for the English release or for themselves, you know, because they update themselves faster than they do us anyway, right? All right, so let's see the next card. So this is the third form, right? So burst 2, okay? Enter if there is a card with second form under this. For each strategy card you have placed, destroy one of your opponent's grade 6 or lower battle cards. Great utility out of these new Shin Godzilla cards. We now are looking at a brand new strategy card and a brand new token. This is the first time in Godzilla card game where we are seeing token cards, and they're showing these both at the same time because they have everything to do with each other. We're about to get into it. So check this out. So for the cost 6 over here, this is called Operation Yashiori, the Unmanned Railway Bomb. Okay, crazy name. If you have 5 or more strategy cards in your discard pile, create an unmanned railroad bomb token in each of your empty areas. And then it also puts in parentheses that the tokens are separate from your deck, which means that if you run this card, that means you are now going to have a separate pile away from your rage, away from your monster cards, and away from your main deck. You're not going to have a 4th deck, technically, right? With just these tokens. Because the token card right there, it says that enter, reduce your opponent's rage by 1. And it also says in parentheses, tokens cannot be put into the deck. They disappear when moved outside the area. So what I'm pretty sure that they're trying to say is that if it gets trampled, if it gets, destroyed by an effect or something like that, it doesn't even go into the deck. I wouldn't even put it in the discard pile at that point. I feel like tokens would then just be, for the first time, we're going to now refer to them as removed from play or banished. All right? So that's how that works. Very interesting. The tokens have 2,000 counter power. They're bringing the rage down. If you somehow have nothing on the board and you play this and your opponent has a lot of rage on, bro, every time that token hits the ground, the rage is going down. So it's helping you repel them, which is actually pretty sick. I like that effect a lot. Last but not least, these last 3 cards, we're finally looking at some new greens. Give it up. Hold on. Let's go. Give it up for the greens. Okay, we finally get a new color to talk about and to see what these 2 new monster cards and 1 battle card, okay, what they do. And one of them is a 2-step. We have Godzilla 1991. So this is the one all the way on the right. And it is a 2-step, and it has 5,000 counter power with some potential of raising it up. So here's what it does. So Awakening 6. If there are 3 or more cards under your monster card, its repelling power is increased by 5,000. If there are 5 or more cards under it, it is increased by an additional 5,000. So this guy has potential to increase your counter power by 10k, 15 if you count him. So that's pretty good. That's actually very good. So green is coming in strong, right? Next we have King Ghidorah 1991. This I believe is, which one is this one? This is the middle one. Okay. So the middle one says enter, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. So we have a lot of discarding power in green from what it looks like. And then at the same time, when invading, destroy 3 of your opponent's grade 4 or lower battle cards. So as a rank 2, this guy is pretty OD. He's able to kind of wipe early boards. Imagine if you're playing against a blue deck and they got their Mothra larvas and their Batras and all these freaking weakling little ass things that require and need to evolve. You're wiping them clean, right? They're gonna have a hard time getting those evolutions up. And then last but not least, we got King Ghidorah 1991, another monster card. This is a rank 1. So whenever this moves forward, discard the top card of your deck. Keywords! When it moves forward, I don't know, it's early to say right now, so I mean, maybe I shouldn't even get too excited. But if we're to assume that this translation is as accurate as it can be, thanks, shout outs to Google. When this moves forward, it's not specifying advancing. It's not specifying invasion. That just means whenever that shit fucking has an itch and it's moving, you're discarding a card. So green seems to be we're getting rid of our deck, right? But because of that, you're piling up your discard pile. It's remained to be seen, but we got to see what other effects green has to offer, because I'm sure that there's going to be cards that help with that, because there needs to be a trade-off. Whenever there's a certain action that takes place in a card game, there's always an opposite action that like not just counters it, but it balances it out. So that way it's like you're getting something else in return. It's like, okay, why am I ditching all of my cards? Well, that's probably because later on in the game, if you have a certain amount of this card, whatever, then you get something else, right? Like that's at least the hope, right? So there you have it. So that's all the cards. That's all 12 cards. Again, you can find all of these cards for yourself over on the Japanese Twitter page of the Godzilla card game. Unfortunately, the English side probably won't even post these. I want to say, honestly, probably not until next month, right? Because again, if you guys missed out on my last video, October 4th is still the date for the Japanese release of set 2. But unfortunately, for us, the English release, we're not getting this until the 27th of October, which is literally the end of the month. So they're getting it at the beginning of October. We're getting it at the end of October. So I'm sure once they get it, we'll probably see these exact same tweets, but, you know, written in English. And then at that point, we'll have the whole set to look at. And once we get to that point, I'll probably have to do like a whole stream to look over every single card, because that is something I do want to do. And I want to see what is going on with this new set. And more importantly, and I'm actually going to be doing this in the next Godzilla video that I do, is I'm going to be going over some tournament profiles. Okay, so if you are wherever you're at and you're competing, or if you found a deck that, you know, Japan is using and you want me to go over this deck, let me know in the comments or hit me up on Discord, because that is what we're going to be doing in the coming videos for Godzilla card game. And obviously I do some other content on here for those that may not be aware, but you know, I'm into fighting games just as much as I am into this game as well. So if you are a homie and you're part of the gang, hit that like button for me. Make sure you are subscribed, hit that bell for the alerts. And as always, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Love what you love. Gang.